Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Connect to Florida. When I go missing for a week, some of you are so kind and you reach out to me. I got 7 emails saying, where are you? Where are your videos? So I appreciate you so much. And that tells me that we are actually a community here, which is important to me. I always want to be a resource for you that you can trust when you're trying to get information. Accurate, okay? Can we say the words accurate information about Florida real estate? Because if you're trying to buy or sell something from outside of Florida, which is very, very common in Florida, then you have to have somebody that you can trust. So listen, I'm just going to share with you. You know why I was gone for about a week? Because, can you see this? I don't know if you can, but right here on my cheek is a pre-skin cancer spot. Not just there, but there's some up here on my forehead as well. Listen, I'm sharing it. There is no HIPAA here. There's not. I'm just telling you. If you live in Florida, little tip, you need a lot of sunscreen. And I do use a lot of sunscreen, but you know, I'm Irish Italian. So my skin just will do that. But you need a good dermatologist and a good sunscreen in Florida. I can tell you I wear it all the time, but clearly back in the day I wasn't wearing enough. Who used to use tin foil and baby oil, and the skin cancer was not living in their world? That was me. Okay, we're not going to talk about that anymore. Let's jump into today's video. And one of my viewers who comments on my paintings, it's gone. You know why? Because I'm working on it. So I'll have it up there probably in the next video. It won't be done, but I'll have it back up there. It's just in another room with better lighting right now. All right, so today we're going to talk about, is this another way? Is this another backdoor to losing a deal, to getting something wrong, to I don't know what I don't know? Listen, not on this channel, it's not going to be. So let me tell you, I want to read to you verbatim, I'm going to look down here, from an attorney's office that I work with all the time, who I find to be credible, reliable, reachable. And that's important because here in Florida, when you buy or sell a home, you don't have to use an attorney, but a lot of people do because there's a lot of complicating matters that can occur, and then you're covered. Like I said, you don't have to, but I do because I think it's the smarter thing to do. So let me just I'm going to read you what this says, because you need to know this. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and it's better to know so you don't get into a problem. This is new. So this comes from Sam Saad's office in Naples, Florida. I will link all of his information down below. I'm not, we're not affiliated in any way. I'm just giving you an outlet and I'm sourcing the information. So it says, a recent decision from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has clarified the implementation of Florida Senate Bill 264, SB 264. As a result of this ruling, all buyers of real property in Florida, underline the word all, regardless of citizenship or country of domicile, must now sign an affidavit affirming compliance with the SB 264 for every single transaction. That was not the case before. So what is required? Buyers must execute an affidavit confirming that their purchase complies with SB 264, which, here's where it's important, restricts property ownership by certain foreign nationals, particularly those domiciled in China. That's important to know. Now, why is that important? Because if you're coming from China, and me personally, in the last probably 3 years, I have done 4 attempts of deals with people from China, and I will share with you that none of them closed for varying reasons, but none of them closed. So who must sign? This requirement applies to U.S. citizens. Did we hear this? Lawful permanent residents, foreign nationals, and business entities. Sometimes the business entities, people will try to get tricky about that. Why this matters. The affidavit is mandatory and must be included with the closing documents. Failure to comply may result in legal complications or penalties for both buyers and sellers. So, what does this mean to you? Why is this a problem? Why are you telling me this, Barrett? Listen, in a world in Florida where many deals are falling apart right now, sellers want to sell, buyers want to buy, nobody wants a legal mess. So deals can fall apart for varying reasons. This is another one. So there are a lot of buyers from outside of the country that buy in Florida. A lot. Many of you know this. But there are a lot of buyers that buy from outside of the country in Florida. That is why this is so important to know. Now, you may say, but why, Barrett? Why would this even matter? Well, in a world where you can lose deals for many reasons, a buyer losing financing, a property under appraising, in a due diligence period, a buyer just simply changing their mind. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you rely on a real estate agent that also doesn't know. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. So I like to bring you here what is factual. So even though we're not going into the absolute details, we're giving you enough, or at least I'm attempting to, so that if you want to dig deeper, you can. Or if you're in the middle of a transaction and you're like, well, hold on a minute. I mean, I'm not trying to profile over here, but it's pretty clear to me that the name of the buyers on my contract do appear that they could be from another country. So let me give you a little more information that I think is important for you to know. I'm going to read it verbatim because I think that's important. The law prohibits certain foreign principals from acquiring agricultural land or property within 10 miles of military installations or critical infrastructure. Now, we have all heard those rumors. You know the rumors I'm talking about people buying up property around military bases. So this is a thing, this is a real thing, and they're trying to put some guardrails in Florida. Sellers must be aware that selling to a prohibited foreign purchaser can trigger civil and or criminal penalties, including potential forfeiture of the property. Now, if you're like me, the very first thing you're thinking of is which countries. Tell me which countries. So let me give you that. All right, here are the countries that are deemed as countries of concern. So why does that matter, and why am I using those words exactly? Because, as always, there's a little of this, but maybe not that, but yes this, but not that. So it's not absolutely black and white on this, but these are the countries of concern. So the People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, otherwise known as Russia, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, which would be North Korea, Cuba, Syria, Venezuela. Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that they're watching closely. So as I said, is that every single family home? No, it's not. But this is enough for you to be aware and for you to know that if this comes up, by the way, there is something called FIRPTA. Remember, there's also something called FIRPTA. I'll put the abbreviation right here. That's also important, and that comes up a lot as it relates to foreign buyers and sellers. So this affects taxation. If you weren't aware of this, this is another thing you need to be aware of, but that's a completely separate video. So let me know if you're interested in having me do a little bit of a deep dive into that. But these are a couple of the things that you really do need to know if you're looking at buying and selling in Florida, so that you can smoothly hold your deal together together. Did that make sense? That's what we all want here. We want our deal to go smooth, and at the end of the day, when we close on our property, we want it to be exactly what we expected. So if you have any questions, like I said, I'll leave Sam Saad's contact information down below in the description box, and obviously my information is below for you as well if you're interested in buying or selling in Florida.